Hello and welcome to the Free Cheese episode 327. I'm your Joe Dix, joined by Marc Augustiniak.
What's up?
Matt Sellner.
Hello.
The Free Cheese is a weekly video game podcast about video games brought to you once a week by thefreecheese.com. Hello, good morning, good afternoon if you're listening to this in the afternoon, good evening if you're listening to it in the evening.
Good morning if you're listening to it at 1 a.m.
Hey, look at that.
Oh.
Is there a different word for morning we could use? Because we already used morning as like I'm thinking morning.
My feeling is, look, there's two, because of our 12-hour time, unless you go by military time, there's two 1 o'clock.
Thank you.
So you're allowed to say good morning twice in one day. You know? That's how I think about it.
Would you, alright, 1 o'clock in the morning, you walk into a McDonald's. Would you say good morning?
Wait, you can walk in?
24 hours.
I thought it was just drive-through.
For the sake of argument. You walk into a Wawa,
walk through the
7-Eleven.
drive-thru.
Yeah.
Walk through the
Do you say good well, I guess if you're walking through the drive-thru, you're probably going to say a lot more than good morning. But what is that your approach?
I mean, if I want to be a technical smartass,
Alright.
I could.
I would say it depends on when you went to bed.
I mean, I'm more like a hi, how you doing type of person. I'm not good afternoon, good evening. I just say, hey, what's up?
What if you had been up since 6 o'clock that morning and you were just grabbing something before you went to bed? Is that good evening?
So it also depends on the other person I'm talking to. So I'm a man who works a few overnights throughout the year, usually about one a month. And when I'm texting my girlfriend to let her know I'm leaving work, I usually say, oh, I'm going to bed, but good morning to you, or something along those lines.
Oh. Very good.
I'm going to bed. I might say good night. I don't know. Now I'm conflicted. What do I say?
I think if I was being cheeky about it, I would say good morning. But normally, I don't count as the next day until I wake up.
That's
like,
how
going to
that's
sleep and
usually how I do it.
I
Though.
think that's the right answer.
or if I see the sun.
Here comes the sun.
Well, we're going to see the sun today on this here podcast. We're going to talk later on about Sega Saturn's 25th anniversary. Some new exciting developments coming to Street Fighter V. All that later on. Of course, what we've been playing. But first, I got a surprise topic to kick off the show.
No.
This week, Valve announced Half-Life Alyx, a prequel, but also you kind of have to play Half-Life 2 to understand it, to the Half-Life 2. Coming out March 2020 for VR, not just Valve Index, but all VR. Available on Steam, $60 game.
Full-ass game.
Yeah. But it's been a while since Valve's done that. Half-Life. About 12 years by my count. It's also been a little while since Valve's really made games. Artifact, not,
Hey, easy.
I think,
Artifact was about a year ago now.
How about Underlords? New game.
I think the little edit there
New game.
is a game that's been released, because they've probably made tons of games that haven't seen the light of day.
Mark. Mark is fucking tapping into the old Joe Dick's brain up here on this topic. So the announcement came by way of Sir, I believe he's been knighted, Sir Jeff Keighley.
Oh, no, he's Pope Keighley.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And so Jeff he had a little 20-minute chat with some folks from Valve where he did talk about, hey, there's probably been a lot of shit that you guys have done that's not seen the light of day. And they talked about the prospect of making a new Half-Life and how scary that is because the expectations of Half-Life 3 and all of that and why this ended up being a VR project. And then Jeff, of course, had a long history with Valve and Half-Life in particular with his Final Round series. Where he goes way in depth about the making of and the history and all that stuff. And of course, he confirmed a final round for Half-Life Alyx to launch with the game in March.
That's pretty cool.
So my topic for today to start us off is, if tomorrow you wake up, Keighley's on Twitter. He goes, hey, check out this video I made with my friends over at blank. What's the studio you want Keighley to show up at? What's the game you want to get the skinny on? And what's the, where do you want the Jeff Keighley final round treatment applied to? Which game?
New or old?
Whatevs, right? You can jump at any point in time. you want some. It doesn't have to be Keeley. It could be Danny O'Dwyer over at NoClip doing the Final Fantasy 14 style thing. But what's the game studio that you're like, man, what happened during development of that? How many things failed? Where did this end up? I think we got to see some of that stuff, like with the Iwata Ask stuff back in the day, where you get to see, not really see, but you would hear all these things. Like I remember with Splatoon, you would get in the Iwata Ask, they revealed that it was originally rabbits, but originally before that, it was big blocks of tofu, and it's like, what the fuck? What a weird thing. And you see some of that stuff at GDC, where the developers will come out and show little bits of that, where you can kind of follow the narrative. But really, like, someone take a deep dive into one of your favorite franchises or studios.
I never watched a Jeff Keighley Final Round. At least I don't remember. Is it more like an expose? Is it like company friendly? What?
It's kind of just like sitting there at their place and just
Okay.
talking right there.
But it's very like company friendly. It's not like
it's not like digging up
Schreier.
Yeah,
thing on
no,
the-
no,
okay.
no, no.
Oh,
No,
okay.
yeah, you could tell there were some things that they were trying to avoid talking about.
Yeah, it is in cooperation with
Yeah,
him,
okay.
and I'm sure that they have final say on the edits and that kind of stuff. You know what goes.
Even
in
Kelly
it
was like,
and
"Just
all
say it. Just say Half-Life 3." They couldn't even
Yeah.
say the title.
Huh. All right. Now I got to change my answer a bit. I wanted an expose on Metal Gear Solid 5. I'm in the Kojima world now.
that. Yeah.
Some would say the Strand genre.
Yeah,
I have to rethink my. Someone go first.
I think I had a similar mindset like you, Matt, with it, but because I was curious about Sonic Team. But that's going to be like a series. That's a lot.
What's the game that you'd want to see pulled apart?
Well, I mean, first thing is Phantasy Star Online. But then that team did so many other things, and then that team split up, and then had different members, and it's just like, what happened? Because like Sonic 06 happened, and and then they got all that other stuff. But yeah, I think I would want to see Phantasy Star Online, see how all that was done.
What in particular about that is like?
It was like I wouldn't say it's probably not the first, but it was definitely one of the more stand out games to incorporate an MMO element for consoles in its time, like especially for I mean, you know, there was Dreamcast, but I don't think it took more of a spotlight maybe until it hit all the other systems. So like for Xbox and GameCube. I tried a little bit with GameCube because they were trying to tap into that online stuff, and that was a doozy. But I don't know, just something about it where like you can make a whole game be both single player and massively multiplayer at the same time is just weird. I've never heard of that. Like the only other online games that I've known around that time was for PS2, and it's EverQuest, and I guess if you want to count it, SOCOM. I don't know. I just think something about that is interesting.
Yeah. And I wonder what the DNA of that is. Like, did they start trying to make a Phantasy Star game, or did they start trying to make an MMO?
And like that's the other thing. Like the look completely changed from the rest of the series. Like the old traditional, JRPGs of Phantasy Star,
Right.
They have more of like there's fantasy with a capital F thrown into that with the sci-fi, and this one just kind of goes full sci-fi, but has those fantasy elements through.
Yeah.
I guess maybe the weapon designs or leveling up or classes, whatever. So yeah, it's just a big overhaul. It's a big change. I'm just curious.
I can't wait for Phantasy Star Online too.
Same.
I hope that it's like.
I hope it actually comes.
Well, and it will. I
it's
hope that it.
some, yeah.
I hope that it lives up. Like I hope that it's not one of those things where I jump in, make
No,
a character,
look.
and then I'm like,
Look, it's a free to play MMO. It's going to be a grind fest. You just keep repeating missions, maybe. But the fun of it is the combat. Like,
just uninstalled DC Universe last night and made sure. And I looked at Destiny. I was like about to right click and uninstall. And I was like,
is DC real time combat?
Yes.
Like fully?
I mean, but it's
Like if you dodge a hit, you dodge a hit.
yeah.
Okay.
The animations are a little stiff, so I mean, like technically yes, but
Oh,
you know.
okay. Well, I mean, I would say this is a little more fluid than that. But
I mean,
could be biased.
I hope the animations are cool.
From what I played, it's amazing. I mean, you can still try it
Yeah.
on PC.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Get on the English server, but you need patches every week.
You know, Joe, with the power of Google Stadia,
Oh shit.
you can uninstall Destiny 2 and still play it.
Or Yeah, but you know what? Like, my computer that's not necessarily optimized for games plays that better than Stadia reportedly plays it. So I think I'm going to be all right.
I have an answer now.
Yeah.
More recent. And there's a lot of studios and games that just want like the dirt on, which a show like this, something like this will never happen. But let's sit down with Sony Ben.
Fuck you, man. That was my answer.
Oh, and Days Gone.
Yeah.
Like, why?
How do you get to that?
Huh?
How do you get to Days Gone from their pedigree? You know what I mean?
Yeah, why the long gap in games? Why Days Gone? How did the work from that Uncharted game go from Vita? Then why aren't you making the Siphon Filter remake that we all wanted this table?
Because there's that, and I think also, like, there were rumors at a time that they had been working on an Infamous game for Vita. Like, there was a lot of stuff around that studio, and, like, what the fuck happened? And then for Days Gone to like be in development for that long and come out the way that it did, I don't know.
Look, I know I didn't put much time into that game this year, but I mean that game was fine. I think like mechanically, gameplay wise, I think it has some interesting ideas. But
any game where you collect ears is all right in my book, but I don't know. That one for sure. Like, what other opportunities did they have? What things did they never see all the way through?
What things did they drop? I think that's more interesting there.
Yeah.
Are they saying the word Siphon Filter anymore?
Yeah. Because how many of those people are even still there at this point? I have no idea. No, I was thinking along those lines. I mean, at this point, I'd want to know, like, I have to believe, right? You got to hold on in your heart of hearts that there's another Castlevania game coming. If my dream of a remake is to be brought to life.
I think we're getting closer to it.
No, but yeah, there's a lot more stuff with, like, Konami is doing something. Don't know what.
Anything by Konami would be interesting.
Right, and I think that, but I think when that inevitable Castlevania game does come out, whatever it is, I'm not talking about the mobile one that's, like, in Canada, but I can't play it right now. The other one, whatever the big next one is, like, what was the lineage of that? How many, like, are they going to pull back from the Igarashi one that they scrapped? Because there was, like, a 3D one way back before Lords of Shadow that was thrown away. You know what I mean? Like, how much of that DNA is still there? Who's involved? Why are they involved?
I can't see them using any older assets at this point.
No, but the ideas, you know what I mean? Like, just
it would be neat to see all that stuff, though.
Of it.
What could have been, and all that, or what should have been.
Because the Igarashi one sounded badass, but they didn't want to give them the money for it. Because
that sounds familiar.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I thought that was a fun little experiment in knowing how cool those Keeley things can be, and this stuff like that. Particularly that Final Fantasy 14 one from Danny O'Dwyer at NoClip. One, if you didn't watch that one, do yourself a favor. Or don't, because then, like, I immediately wanted to play 14 to be like, wow, what a story. Like.
No, I mean, that's a long one, too. That's like a
3-parter, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah. Because
that's pretty interesting.
I mean, 14 was such a weird, not unlike, I'm sure, Half-Life, but, 14 was even different. 14 kind of had what I think BioWare is hoping they can do with Anthem, where, like, that game launched, was not great, and while maintaining the game upkeep for everyone playing daily, they then rebuilt the game, or made a brand new game, and then blew up like that. It's just a wild story. They made
a new realm, as if it was reborn.
It's just a wild story. And, like, how, like, I don't know, you see so many other companies would have been like, fuck it, we lost the money, kill the game, fire these people, move on, like, but...
We still got 11 cooking.
Right, yeah. The fact that Square was able to get someone and do it, that's wild.
I want to see the 2-minute interview about the people that made that little pinball game that come with Windows XP.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
That free one that's all purple or whatever.
Yeah.
I forget what it's called. It's like
Galaxy Pinball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't know, just need to make a pinball game.
Oh, man.
Credits.
What a jam. What a jam. Well, with that, we will move into Now Playing, where we talk about the games that we played in the last week. I assume we played a little bit. Matt, I think we made you wait a little bit last week, so why don't we start this week over on your side of the table?
All right, well, nice and easy. One game. Death Stranding.
That's not Shenmue 3.
a game produced, directed, and original idea from Hideo Kojima.
You sound like a man who watched 2 sets of credits go by.
Yes, I did. That is correct. I have beaten the main main story of Death Stranding.
Why do you say it like that?
Because you can keep playing.
All right.
You can
Follow-up question.
Okay.
Is Matt going to keep playing?
No, for Game of the Year purposes.
Oh, just time-wise.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I might have dicked around maybe just a little bit more just to see if the world changed or anything, because things happen at the end of that game.
Did you find Keely's emails?
I didn't. So I guess you're not forced to go to all like the preppers. That was the name for that, for those areas that aren't connected to UCA preppers. I never. You don't have to find all of them, and because I was mainly following main questline stuff, I didn't really get to the optional areas. Now, I did get into some weird areas where I saw a couple of enemies maybe a little bit ahead of when I should have seen them. But, I was pretty much just straight on the main quest line. I was sending out my little Metal Gear robot walking guide to do some auto deliveries. I would do some standard orders if they were in my path, but nothing crazy. They give you like a stat sheet at the end of the game, and I took a picture of what I did. So like I did 18 of the standard orders, my bot did 13, and then I won't spoil the amount of regular main quest line orders for Sam.
Wow. Never mind. I
will say my playtime though.
I was like, is it triple digits?
My playtime though, it recorded it at like 33 hours. But put in cutscenes, I don't think pause menu time is counted. I mean, you're not in the pause menu much at a time, but add in all those times I'm like coordinating my cargo, I'm taking orders, I'm in the map plotting out where I need to go, checking the weather forecast, which was one of my favorite things to do in this game.
Really?
Yeah.
Persona.
You check the weather forecast to see where the BTs are.
Okay.
You go, like, thanks to the chiral network, people lay down signs that say, like, ooh, spooky ghost in the area, avoid this spot. But then if there's no rain in the area, you don't have to worry about them. Now, if you get caught when that rainstorm comes up, that's a little scary, especially when you don't have your weaponry. But,
sure.
Yeah.
All right, so
I'm just going to start off with this. I beat it real early in the morning last night.
Yeah. I see what you did there.
Oh, I didn't mean to. And then there is so much that's thrown at you. I will just say this: like, if you're planning on beating this game, you think you're done, and then you're not, and then you think you're done again, and then you're not, and then you get yourself wrapped up in about 2 hours of cutscenes mixed in with little gameplay chunks. I was probably done the main gameplay stuff at around 12:30.
Oh shit.
And I didn't pop that trophy until 3:30. Now, like I said, I was playing stuff.
Yeah, but more passive.
It was more.
It was less of the wandering from point A to point B that you've been doing most of the game.
With cargo.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
I mean, like I said, you're doing stuff, but like once. Spoiler alert! You get to the end. You get to Edge Knot City.
Ah, okay, all right, yeah.
But once you kind of get there, there's a few things you have to do, but that's the end. There is a mission where, and I had a feeling this was going to come because Fragile's lets you hop around the map using her beach to different way stations and stuff like that.
Right.
I had a feeling they were going to shut that down, and I had to go back east, and that's exactly what happened.
Did you have to walk back?
I had to
by
some means of transportation or walking all the way back.
Across the United Cities of America.
Uh-huh.
What in the fuck?
Now, they do some things to cut it up so it's not just like one continuous thing, but yeah. And the map changes a little bit because shit is hitting the fan.
And that wasn't the point where you were like, fuck this?
I was about to say fuck this, but I knew it was so close. And then once I started doing it, it like some of those BT areas weren't BT areas because the map, not the map itself had changed, but things that were going on were impacting it.
Yeah.
But then other areas where like there shouldn't be BTs, some form of BTs showed up. some fucking wild things I never thought I'd see.
I honestly didn't think you were gonna do it because I stayed up a little late last night, and I don't know what time it was, but I checked your trophies, and trophies on PSN, if you haven't unlocked them, you can't see what it is. So I had no idea. But I went to PSN profiles that doesn't hide any of the trophies. So I saw that you had unlocked, I'm not going to say the number of chapters, but you still had, let's just say, in terms of numbers of chapters, you still had like a third.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, it's already fucking late. And then I guess they just pop.
They do. So, I just want to say this.
Yeah.
For anyone that dropped out of that first 10 hours or whatever, your moment-to-moment gameplay doesn't change.
So I'm good then.
Like, if you know this game, yes, you get somewhat, like, it mixes it up a little bit, but it's nothing drastic. Like,
great.
Once you played this game I would say after that 5th hour, you kind of know what this game is as far as gameplay goes. What's nice, early on in Chapter 3, you get a power skeleton, your first exoskeleton, to help out with cargo weights. Once I got that, that's when I felt more free to run around, because I wasn't fucking bouncing around or falling over or anything like that. So once I got that, and then for, like, as repetitive as this game can be, I felt like every order mixed it up just enough, whether there was a new maybe not new enemy, but like a new setting an enemy was in. Or like there's a whole area where I'm like stuck in like the snowy mountains, and traversal's a little bit different there. In the mountains, there's also like you have to be careful of like areas where there's like falling rocks all the time. There's just different things like that. The time fall with snow is harsher, so you have to get those packages. Like you either have to build like those time fall shelters to repair, use the cargo spray or whatever, but you have to be more mindful of the cargo you're carrying and the condition it's in by the time you deliver it. There are BT areas, but like the BT areas mix up. Some of them are in cities, some of them are in like what looks like a void out happened, essentially. A lot of BTs up in the snowy mountains, and walking in the snow, you're a little bit slower than. You get new weaponry. Sometimes you just want to play with a new toy and you get it. At some point, you get a little cuff that lets you sneak up on BTs and cut their strand and like dismiss them out of the world. So like it's another way of taking down BTs without having to use your blood. With that being said, by the end of this game, it was not a matter of if I felt threatened by an enemy. It was more of, do I have enough blood bags to throw grenades, use my ammo, or whatever to get through the area. By the end, my backpack had like 7 different grenade pouches. If they were all loaded with hematic grenades, I had about 35 at my disposal. I packed more than enough blood bags to support the 35 grenades. And especially once you get that level 2 hematic grenade, I felt a lot more powerful against the BTs. They were more like a hindrance more than I was terrified.
There's something that make it so you can't just run.
Not annoying, like, oh shit, I gotta go through this again. But it was like I don't have to be as cautious. I can be a little bit more aggressive. There was even times, especially in the mountains, where I would just ride my bike through a BT zone. Like, fuck it, let's go. Yeah. Once I did it the first time, I was like, oh, this is easy. I'm just gonna keep doing this for the rest of the game. So like the gameplay, that's that. The same thing as I said before, though, last week, is the carrot that keeps you going. The setting and the world.
Did you get to have a nibble of that carrot?
Dude, you get the whole fucking carrot in that last 3 hours of that game.
Gobble it down. All right. Is it a good carrot?
Yes, I think so. I have to say, even if some of it was maybe roughly, like hypothetically, like metaphorically, like stitched together. Sometimes like your stitching's not perfect, but you got it all together. Every single story thread that presented itself, it connected. It all kind of met.
Okay, so looking back at 2019, I feel like for me, what I've been slowly realizing that I want in not just games but in life is new stuff. Which I know sounds stupid for like a dude who spends half his time playing games from 30 years ago. But I appreciate more newer things or new experiences over anything.
So does Jim Ryan, I know.
Right. See, but all right, well, anyway, God damn it, you fucked me up with, all right.
Unthreaded that one.
No, but like,
Sorry, I just saw the whole PlayStation
I know.
cast of people, so all the names are fresh in my head, and that's why Ben Studio.
But
popped
I
up in
think
my
also like even approaching something old with new perspective, like whatever. Like that's my thing that I think I've come to appreciate this year in particular. I don't know why or what, but so I've found very little patience for things that aren't doing something new or unique or whatever. And to that point, I think surprise goes a lot into it. Was there stuff in this game that you felt by the end of it had surprised you? Or do you feel like a lot of the threads that are paid off in the end are stuff that... Because like this was me being totally assumptive. Is that a word?
Sure.
Thank you. But at the beginning, I started to see, okay, got it. And I kind of felt like I knew where this game was going to go. Like, did you... By the end of it, are you like, well, yeah, duh? Or are you like, what the fuck?
There's so much going on. And I have some issues with the way this game is paced at the end. And I, like, young, naive, 27-year-old Matt here should have known better. Going in, playing Metal Gear Solid 4, what the end pacing should have been like.
Yeah.
I should have known. But yet here we are at 3:30 in the morning, barely almost falling asleep at some points.
Yeah.
I never did. Almost, though. I caught myself and I would just stand up. I would just stand up and just watch. Like,
I was wondering that, too. I kept, honestly, like, I was fucking around playing last night. I just kept being like, there's no way he's still, holy shit, he's still playing this fucking game. He fell asleep.
But, like, there, by the time you get to the end of this game, there's still... I felt like there was still a one or two things that I wish I knew going towards it. But then the game ends up somehow wrapping it all up, and I kind of understand what happened or what is happening. Like, if you give me a quiz, say like Hideo Kojima was like, all right, you played the game. I want to see how well I write a game. Let's do a multiple choice question or a free answer on what you think happened in this game. And if he was to grade it based on what he thought was the correct response, I would probably get somewhere between 85 to 90% on it.
So it does an okay job of that. Do you feel... So the other thing...
I did not really read the emails or the data points or anything like that either. So
my thing going into this, so I think maybe what I assumed the intent of this game was very much like how I felt at the end of the final chapter in Nier Automata. Do you feel like there was something bigger than the game, something grander than just the confines of the game where you feel better connected to humanity or that whole idea? Like, I know it's like very floaty, and I know that this is like 8 hours after you fucking beat it, so those emotions might not be there, but...
I think that's where I want like the 72 hours just to kind of process, because like Hideo was going for it.
Yeah.
He was going for it. I don't know if the payoff is going to be nearly as good as Nier's was.
Yeah.
But like he went for a theme, and I think he delivered it. It's just, this is my problem. And you said it last week, and I defended. I kind of opposed you on it. But Norman Reedus as Sam Porter Bridges killed it. Like, not in a bad way. Like,
yeah.
So much shit is happening to Sam at an emotional level towards the end of this game.
Yeah.
That if I was in his shoes, I don't even know if I could push forward anymore.
Right.
On an emotional toll.
Right.
Like, I don't want to get into it.
No, but that's the thing that I respect Jeff Keighley for everything he's doing with the Game Awards and all that, but when I saw that fucking Norman Reedus is up for Best Performance, I was like, are you fucking kidding? Like, what? How? Someone told him, like, even the stuff I saw.
So if he's up for Best Performance, the guy who wrote this game should not be considered, like, a great writer, because his character failed at the end, I feel like, at conveying the emotional impact, because it's there, the world from the start, the setting from the start, all the little plot lines, like building up to this big 3-hour grand ending, epilogue, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Fuck. I don't have the emotional impact that I think I should have, because Sam is like kind of so out of touch with his characters. And I know
that's fucked.
And I know, like, that's kind of his character to a degree, and towards the end, he starts showing some emotion. He starts to care.
Yeah.
But then, like, after everything happens, he just kind of goes back to being that same person you met for the first 20 hours of this game. And it's just like, I don't know, I would feel a little bit more emotional after the fucking mess I went through to cross the United States.
Yeah.
All the shit I went through. All the BTs I had to face.
Yeah.
That goddamn motherfucker Higgs, like...
If he wore it a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's a shame.
Thankfully, I mean, there are some other characters that are wearing it. Like, I think Fragile will end up being in our best character list because she has a really cool arc, and
I've only heard good things about her.
She's a great actress. Like a great actor.
If it wasn't for her, I don't even know if I would have like an emotional impact at all at the end of this game. She's the one that tries her best to like instill some emotions in the Sam. It's like, dude, like, come on.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the pacing of that last 3 hours. It's Metal Gear Solid 4 like, so you have to be ready to like once you know you're about to beat the game, and you kind of know.
Yeah.
You start seeing some boss battles, and you can figure it out. That's when you should maybe block out the next 3 to 4 hours of your life, or pause until you're able to block out the next 3 to 4 hours of your life.
I don't want to go too deep into this because we do have Game of the Year in a couple weeks, but if you look at Sam Porter Bridges as something else than just him, if he's a representation of you, the player, and your state in this world, or if he's a metaphor for Kojima's breakup with Konami, like however you view this game, like does it work on that level for him to be so flat emotionally, or is there like no like angle you can approach this from where it's actually acceptable that he just is emotionless?
I mean, yeah, the metaphors are there. I try my best to like not think of it that way, at least to begin with. Like, I'd rather just experience the story that Hideo wants to tell, and then reflect on it at the end and be like, oh, I see what he was trying to do. Oh, that's what. And like my first impression was that like you want to put yourself into Sam's shoes.
Sure.
But I can't do that unless I create my character.
Like, I guess similar to what Joe's asking, like does it seem like it's because of all the events that happened that maybe it was just so overwhelming for him that he just emotionally shut down, was just kind of numb to everything?
But he's numb the entire time.
Okay.
There's no arc.
No arc.
If there was an arc, fine. But he's just
because it sounded like
the entire time.
Because it sounded like you said like he was starting to like care about things, and then whatever. So I'm guessing whatever was just kind of like set him back again.
Yeah.
But the little hump at the end of the arc.
Yeah. I mean,
like,
I know what happens.
You have to like.
I know.
You just
I agree.
can't do like a climax of a character and be like, all right, well that was a payoff.
Especially with
you
that.
have to build to it.
Yeah.
But but like. I love the story of this game, and it sucks that one character and as the main character kind of takes you out of it a little bit. But I never played. Like I said it last week, the characters were like,
Yeah.
It was the world, the setting. What the fuck is a Death Stranding? Why is this happening? And then like along the way, the other characters finally start to be like your Amelie's, your Die Hard, your Deadman's, your Die Hardman. Like they all start to develop, and their interactions at the end of the game make the payoff worth it.
Cool.
But yeah, I mean, as far as the giant theme and metaphor of like who you're supposed to be in this game, I don't think I connected with it at a level that I think is Hideo or it's me. I mean, I think it's trying to go for like me, but I can't connect. It's harder to connect with a character that's pre-cast than, when you get to create your own in this kind of instance.
Sure.
And whenever you're assigned a character like a Nathan Drake or whatever, it's always their story. It's always their story. In this case, it's Sam's story. In Uncharted, it's Nathan's story. It's not my story. I'm just kind of living through Nathan's eyes.
True.
And if this is Sam's story, that's where it falls just a little flat for me. Game of the decade? Yeah, sure. No, I'm kidding. I just want to see your face. No, like I said, I really enjoyed my time. I really enjoyed my time. There's a reason why I just fucking binged play this game. I've said it time and time again. Like I'm the type of person that juggles 2 or 3 games just to change pace. Nah, fuck it. I was just all in on this game. To the point where I think I played it with a 1-hour break between to eat for over the course of 11 hours last night straight.
How many monsters did you have?
I was 0, but Sam consumed a lot because it got dicey there at the end.
There you go.
I do have to say, the monster, if you do a certain order, the monster energy goes away some.
What do you mean?
So you still have the canteen of monster energy, but like the cans on the table, they go away.
That's
you there's an order where someone wants you to bring like ingredients to make a beer, and so once that beer gets brewed, it starts to show up in your private locker.
Interesting.
It's called like porter ale.
Good.
And then one last thing, the boss fights in this game, or like the major like action sequences, it just makes me want to play a fucking Metal Gear game. And if this game did anything, it just makes me want to go back, of course, after Game of the Year, to Metal Gear Solid 5 and complete that game.
Interesting.
Well,
So
can you complete an incomplete game?
You can roll credits.
yeah, that so his next game, like, would you prefer it just be big boss battles with some story? Like, what's...
I know, because the set action pieces I thought were fun. You get sent to some battlefields in this game. I'm not going to say much more on that.
Sure.
But those are more action sequences, and those are fun. And I have to say, I think what Hideo Kojima does well as a person who makes games is he does really well of like putting you into a world with a bunch of fucking tools and letting you play the way you want to play. And I know like a lot of games say that, but he actually fucking does it.
Yeah.
On a very high level.
Yeah.
When you look at Metal Gear Solid 5 and when you look at this game, I mean, yeah, you're delivering cargo back and forth, but
there's a lot of menus.
I told you, like, I packed well, so I was all ready to go when Timefall hit. But like, you could travel light and go faster. Like, yes, I could be the dumbass that goes through the shortcut through all the BT territory, or I can just go along the long way, avoid all the BTs, maybe run into a terrorist or two, and just sneak in the back way and not have to worry about BTs. Yeah. He does that on a good level. I just want a little bit more, I think, of that Metal Gear Solid action. I'm not saying like a Metal Gear Solid light game, but the traversing, the walking around with like not really using your weapons, it kind of like...
After a while.
Yeah, it's like, I'm ready to play Star Wars now and just swing my lightsaber around.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's all I have to say about this game for now. Of course, we will dive more into the story come Game of the Year time.
Yeah.
But no, I think that game delivers on a world and setting aspect.
That's good. I didn't want it to be a complete wash.
No, not at all.
I had hoped, that there was something there.
Not at all. And like I said, the game, it introduces mechanics in different settings at the right times when you're like, come on. I think there's a really cool moment when you kind of cross the last set of tar to get to where Edge Knot City is at the very end of the map. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that will be a nominee from me come Moment of the Year. But, interesting. There's a lot of good in this game. It just sucks that one kind of character takes you out of the experience. But I would recommend it. However, like I said, if you've played or seen that first 7 hours and that is the game. So either you're in it for the story or you like that kind of game.
There you have it. Death Stranding. Matt Soner game. Mark.
Yep.
What'd you get into this last week?
Not much. I tapped into a little bit of Control. It's just more... Maybe like on like mission 6 now. Like that just shows how much. But like again, like I got lost with navigating. Like everyone that complains about that map, man, they're so right.
You're in that maintenance area still, right?
No. I'm now. Dylan has revealed himself. But I didn't get right to him. Just like I know where he's at, but I didn't get to him. Like I found where he was supposed to be, and then and then Central was like, "Hey, Dylan's here.
Got
Should
it.
come back. But before I did that, I like to try to do side missions, but the game kind of doesn't want you to do side missions as soon as they appear. It's like they want you to always advance the story first and then come back. At least that's the vibe I'm getting from it. Because there's that dude in the chamber staring at the fridge. Did you do that? Has anyone done that?
Dude,
I didn't know. I never went back after I beat this game to do some of this extra side stuff,
Yeah.
but like I could not figure out what to do.
So like, I mean, were you able to get into that room?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying.
So-
I couldn't figure out what to do.
So like, so the dude's just like, you gotta help me. Like, my shift was supposed to be done like hours ago.
Yeah.
So like, he's this guy staring at this fridge and he can't blink. If he blinks, he's done. And somebody was supposed to take over, so I had to go back to the dude Langston, tell him what's going on, and then he was like, "Oh shit, I forgot about him. Like, I left him up there this whole time." And Jesse's like, "How could you forget?" He's like, "Well, excuse me, but this whole place is kind of there's shit going on. Just couldn't think about it." So he gives you the pass to go through to go through that door. Like he unlocked it, so you can go in there. And then as soon as you're about to get to him, he's like, "Oh, thank you." And then like you get locked out for a second. He disappears in that little room. I guess the fridge did something, or unless he killed him, I didn't see the body, but he sounded like he got attacked. And then so when you go into that room, you actually have to keep your reticle on the fridge, or else you get hurt.
Oh, jeez.
And then you have to get up to it, do your little handsy thing, and then it warps you into this, like, similar to like the rooms with the board when you learn new powers. It's all like that type of style.
Yeah.
But it's all dark. It's not all white bright around you. And you're like, you're trying to look for the guy, and all of a sudden this big ass like eyeball tentacle monster pops up, and she's like, "What the fuck?" Like, she actually says that.
Yeah.
it has like bug legs almost. Because like they kind
What the fuck? Thank God I never found that.
it's
Really?
like it's this eyeball, and like it switches between two different eyes, like a smaller pupil and a bigger pupil, and a bigger pupil shoots out like these black holes, and you can kind of throw them back, but there's so many at once that like when I throw one, it clashes with another, it makes this explosion. Or sometimes if I try to grab it, it gets too close to me and it hurts me, and I die like 5 times. And in that damn loading screen that takes 2 years.
That loading screen is an eternity.
Xbox One X.
Yeah.
I don't remember this loading screen.
I don't know. Maybe you have solid state, right?
I don't know which one I have it, because I have a solid state, yeah. But I have mainly
It's not
for
like-
OS stuff in it.
it's
so
not
I don't
like
know where I have it installed.
It's not like going to the tower long, but
I mean,
it feels.
oh no!
No, it's
that
not.
tower.
No,
you know,
it's
the song, and I would walk. Yeah, that's.
But
it's
it is long
It
enough
feels
that
long, especially when you have such short health. You take damage so easily,
it's
and that shit keeps happening.
It was long enough that like picking up my phone and scrolling through some shit for a while.
Yeah.
And
my favorite is when I do the things to try to avoid hits. Like I just got the flying ability, and like trying to dodge and having a shield. I like when I try to do all that, and then when you get to that loading screen after you die, it tells you a little tip of, hey, did you know you could do a shield, or you could hit.
Oh
you
yeah,
could dash.
fuck
Like,
you.
Yeah, like get fucked, man. So I did it like maybe I tried to do it like five or six times. I was like, maybe I'm not supposed to be here yet. Like maybe I have to come back when I'm a little stronger. I don't know, or maybe I have like better health, something. Because maybe I should just go to Dylan. Maybe I should just maybe the game, like, because I'm in that game's world. It's making me think like this dude can't wait. Like I was so concerned about him. Like I wasn't even concerned about Dylan. I was like, oh, this mission popped up. His eyes are gonna fucking stop working.
I gotta help this dude.
Yeah, so like I really believed it. So
Yeah.
I was like, this has to be done now. This is a now moment, and then it's making me feel like it's not so much a now moment, which is kind of I've seen this pattern a lot in this game so far when I've been traversing. It's like these like sometimes like those little last minute missions will pop up that are like little challenges just to fight some hiss somewhere.
I started to.
I
ignore
fail
that.
those. I fail those every time.
Oh,
now.
I failed them a lot initially. They're tough.
Like at first
tough.
it seemed easy, but now it's just like, what happened? Like maybe I'm just not. I don't know. Just something with the progression of this game is just throwing me off. Where it's like every time I find a new side mission, I want to get those out of the way before continuing the story. I don't want to have to because I don't want to keep backtracking, but I think the game wants you to backtrack like a lot.
Yeah.
And with a map like that, I wish I could just view the floors
I know.
without having to be in an elevator.
And that's supposed to be an update at some point, they had said.
Well,
but-
That's a bigger overhaul than...
December,
Yeah, I
I think,
guess
is their first update.
DLC or big update.
Probably both.
Yeah.
I can imagine. But I mean, aside from that, I am liking the game. I'm glad that I could pick it back up after not playing it for like a week and still remember how to do everything. I think that's impressive. I mean, there's not a lot to it, but at the same time, I like how each button is its own thing. There's no weird combination of stuff. You don't have to like hold in one button and hit another button to do something. Everything is assigned.
Yeah,
It's simple enough.
Coming off of Devil May Cry, that was like a good...
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm still liking that world. I'm still liking finding all the different collectibles and reading all the different documents and got my first Threshold Kids
Nice.
Yeah.
video. Liking it.
That's weird.
Liking
Dude,
the vibes.
That first time I watched one, it was like 12:30 in the morning, and it's like, lights out. Like, I mean, Control, it's a thriller, but it's not scary. That was like the first time, like, what the fuck is this game?
Doing weird shit.
It definitely has the creepy stuff like layered underneath it. You got to look for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Found that ashtray maze. Still feel like that's too early for me to get to.
You know when to go through that. I'll put that out there.
Yeah, because like I got the little
Like, you can go through it, but you can't go through it.
Yeah.
No,
It's
yeah,
like a while walking in circles.
Yeah, that's all it is. It just kept me going through like the same two loops forever.
Yep. Yep.
I do like I don't know if that was supposed to be like that for a certain amount of time and then maybe something different happens or what.
Nope.
But,
Okay. Nope. You need something.
Okay, I figured there's some like comeback late game. Or middle.
I mean, if you found it,
if you found it, you're very close.
I mean, I found it before I could fly.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense.
Okay.
But you will know when it's time to go there.
Okay.
Which sounds very ambiguous and
No, that's fine.
right now.
I get it.
Yeah,
I totally get that with this game. That it's not confusing. I did find my first Alan Wake Easter egg. One of the documents they collected a thermos that was from the diner in Bright Falls, and they even mentioned Alan Wake.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Did you find that room? There's an Alan Wake room.
Is there? No.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
I'll tell you off air where it's at, but or if you want to know, but yeah.
Oh, that's cool because I was hoping there'd be more.
It's accessible after you get the flying ability.
Got it. Okay.
Interesting.
No, I found a room where you could listen to like Poets of the Fall music because they've done pretty much half those Remedy games. They've done a song for mostly Alan Wake.
I'm gonna close the blinds.
Yeah. I mean, there's not too much further from that. I think I just need to. Oh, there goes Oswald.
All the pigs are triggered.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think I just need to mentally just be like, look, just go with the main chunks of this game and then come back for everything else. And it's just hard for me to ignore the side quests, which is weird because usually I don't do those right away.
Yeah, I forgot. Honestly, I forget how to play this game. I think I was just like... I think I had that Death Stranding mindset of like, oh, if the side mission was like on my way, I would knock it out. But then if it wasn't, I would kind of keep going with the main quest line.
If I was able to, I would try. And then I get to it and I feel like, oh, I'm missing something. Oh, I don't have a high enough pass to get through this door now. Like, or oh, I don't have an ability to get to this thing yet. Like I know there's an object of power that's an anchor, and I found it before I could fly. And she's like, how am I supposed to get to this? And I was like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just a leap of faith. Maybe I'm supposed to think that there's nothing there, and I'll just jump. And I died.
Has anyone found the mirror?
The mirror. Is it like
It's an object of power. I think it's. I don't know. They classify it as optional at some point, like a side mission at some point. That was one of my favorite things in this game too.
I have not found that. I found the rubber ducky.
Yeah.
That was cool reading a document about it and then actually seeing it. And so it has like this weird aura around it.
Yeah.
So we all gotten to that point where like you were in that area where like all the objects, the OPs or whatever.
Yeah.
How underwhelming was it when he opened the door and you didn't see shit flying around like crazy? Like you go to that area, right? And everyone's like, "Oh, this is where all the objects of powers are."
Oh,
and
yeah,
like
yeah. It's just
and
empty rooms.
and all the things you've seen throughout the world, you're like, what the fuck's behind that? When you get in there, it's like nothing.
Wait, you're talking about the
Yeah.
area that has the fridge and everything?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I didn't think too much on it. I kind of thought it was just funny. One was a get well balloon. One.
I like the area itself, but everyone was
yeah.
building it up this is where all the objects of
Yeah.
power are. Be careful, there's a lot of shit happening, and you get in
Yeah.
there, and it's just a couple hiss flying around and
Yep.
a dude washing a fridge. It's like, okay. Cool.
Yeah. I think I ran into a weird loading glitch around that area. Because usually you have to take an elevator to the 4th floor to get to that point, and the elevator for some reason was on the 1st floor, so it kind of made me just fall. But then I caught myself on a ledge, I floated to a ledge. And I was
had
like,
a thing like
so
that
I had to
too.
keep flying up to each ledge by ledge, to finally get back up to where I was. I was like, that's weird.
I don't remember that.
I had
No,
that.
there's a few loading glitches with this game, but it doesn't.
You are playing on console though. The console had the worst of it.
And it is expected. So it's not taken away for me. It's just I'm just used to that with games. I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
this is just a video game thing, and I don't really focus on it.
Yeah.
But sometimes it can get in the way when it comes to traversing, trying to get up on a ledge. But yet, scaffolding maybe stopped me from grabbing onto a ledge, so I fall or something. And it's just weird physics, just trying to understand it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like it. I'm still interested. Wish I played more. But yeah, from what I learned from it, I think I just need to. I guess I just need to take a step back from being invested, which is weird. For the side missions, at least, and just go more, just run right with the main story.
Yeah. You're close.
I don't know, because I feel like I haven't done a lot either. I feel like I'm still early in the game. I know I'm not even halfway, right?
I mean,
the
I
main
felt that
quest line
too when I beat it.
The main quest line is not a long. I mean, it's 10, 12 hours, but I don't think it's it's not an open world 30-hour game like Death Stranding or anything like that.
I guess because I looked up how many missions there were. I feel like I'm only not even a third of that.
I believe that what you looked up is the total mission count, including side optional missions.
Oh.
The
Okay.
main mission count, I think you're further along than you think.
Okay, because I don't have any extra costumes or.
I don't think I got anything till after. Yeah.
I think I got one.
Yeah, the one that you.
Okay.
You're talking about that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the only one I got.
I just got the charge power up for the main weapon.
Yeah.
So I think out of all of them, there's charge, scatter, pierce, spin, and the regular one.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right.
That seems like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean none of them are upgraded.
Yeah.
Besides the main one.
A lot of the upgrades, you do have to do side missions if you want to start chasing the upgrades, but
Yeah.
I don't even think I got all the weapons. I focused on upgrading my ones I know I used all the time.
Scatter's been my favorite.
The scatter and there's the regular one. I think those were fully upgraded.
I use scatter and pierce. Pierce is good for boss fights.
I had Pierce and Spin by the end. I used Spin a lot in the end.
Spin was good.
I liked it at
ever
first,
got
but
Pierce, honestly,
dude, Pierce is just a charge shot. Just,
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
yeah, it helped with that Salvador boss fight right before getting to the TV object of power.
Yeah.
Salvador was a bitch, and I had to look up for a second. Am I using the right weapons?
I just kept
And then,
throwing shit at him,
And
then,
somebody was using spin. I was like, I can't use spin, so I just I just stuck with Pierce. I'm like, no, I'm fine. Just do it my own way.
I honestly was just what's the thing called when you take over the dudes?
Oh, C's.
Yeah, I was seizing a bunch of people in that room,
Same.
letting them take it. I would hit Salvador with.
I
shit,
love how
and then-
far away you can do that.
Yeah, I know. It's
I
way
didn't
further
realize
than
the
you
reach
should
was so good with that.
Ooh. Last thing about Death Stranding. The throwing mechanic with cargo is fucking incredible.
Oh, yeah?
Throwing cargo at people.
Oh yeah.
And I got to throw an old cargo box holding a PlayStation
Oh, that's cool.
at a final boss.
That's cool.
That should be a trophy.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was wanting to see you there.
Have you had to throw cargo over terrain or anything to get to a spot?
That is highly frowned upon.
Okay.
You're going to destroy that
I didn't
cargo.
know. I didn't know it was super secure.
I mean, you could, because
Packages.
cargo doesn't disappear in the world unless you're 1,000 meters away. So you can easily do stuff like that, but
Yeah, okay.
and you destroy cargo fast. Anyway,
Right.
sorry.
Somebody would film you and put it on YouTube. Look at this terrible delivery, man.
Dude, he
Yeah.
hucks it. He fucking hucks it. I like it's the way you deliver it too is a button combination. It's pretty cool.
That's cool.
But yeah,
Yeah, Control's dope.
yeah, I'm loving all the different multimedia stuff collecting too.
Yeah.
They put a lot into that,
Yeah, there's a lot of world building there.
which is and then I found out for that roadmap, for Control, how like the last part it shows like it kind of teases Alan Wake, and now it makes sense why to put AWE.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Because I thought it was like Alan Wake experience or expansion
did I,
or
yeah,
something,
yeah,
but
yeah.
then it's like, it's altered world event
Right.
or whatever, and it's like, all right, that's cool.
Yeah.
I see what they did there.
Yeah, because you're already Alan Wake. I was like, it has another meaning.
Yeah.
It's a double meaning for sure.
Well, speaking of Control, I wrapped up Devil May Cry 5.
Yeah.
Good transition.
Well, no, my transition is that I beat it and I loved it, but I really felt like I was never in control of the characters in the like.
Devil May Cry?
Yeah, like I just always felt like I was like kind of like walking through mud. Like I'm just not good at those combo systems. Like, for me, it becomes button mashing and whatever.
So here's the thing,
Square.
I think I don't know if it depends on like a certain arm that helps string everything together. If you're Nero, or what? But because like, I see videos and people are so fucking flawless with everything, and I don't get how they get so flawless with it. And then because like, this, I don't really play these games
Sonic
either.
Fox play a fighting game, like that's how.
But like that's the thing is like I tried to approach it like a fighting game and it's not that even. Like you've got to be like deliberate with timing, but also I don't know what good timing is for these combos. I don't know if you're supposed to like pop or pop.
Like they do give you like a good training area to do this all in.
Right.
I never utilized it, but you can go into like that
Yeah.
void and just kind of just test everything.
And I've done that like in Bayonetta. I've done that, but I still never feel like good about it. I
Yeah,
don't know.
because they never tell you if you're doing it right or what you're doing wrong.
Yeah, I needed the feedback. That's if something said this is good, this is
Because
bad.
one of my favorites for Nero is a very simple one. It's like one of the first combos you get, and it's just him just constantly just vertical slashing crazy, just going
Yeah.
batshit crazy, hammering at the enemy.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite things, but the timing of it is so weird. Like you have to just hold it in once, or like just press once, give it
Wait,
some time,
and then hit it,
and
yeah.
then keep mashing.
Yeah, it's
Also, you can't do that while locked on.
right because then that does.
Or maybe
different,
you can. You just can't. You can't lean the
You can't
joystick in any
move the
direction.
stick 'cause
It's a
that'll pull you.
neutral.
Which that's a weird. I don't know. I really like
And
that
they're all
game.
like that.
I liked the like strange things that it did with the story and just how fucking unapologetically weird it is and fucking dumb.
This is another game where the beginning and end are my favorite parts.
Yeah, a lot of stuff in the middle falls, not
'Cause
flat, but just like
Because like the beginning made me think like, all right, we're really diving in with this. Nero's going to be exploring some shit.
Yeah.
Things are going to get weird, and then it just kind of stays the same.
Yeah.
Kind of starts to overstay its welcome.
and then just goes out on a fucking bang.
I mean, maybe because I played on easier difficulty too. I didn't feel as threatened by everything. But then the end is my favorite part.
Yeah,
Like just that moment alone was worth it. Playing through that entire game.
yeah, it was good. And the fucking
Like you were talking about a main character having an emotional impact.
yeah,
Nero
Yep.
fucking takes
Nero,
that cake.
yeah. And just even the fucking credits, just Devil Trigger playing while you just murder shit.
That
It's
was cool.
So stupid.
You
and
just
fun.
you just get to fight stuff during the credits. That was a very Smash like thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Oh, we did get a banger of a song from Churches for Death Stranding, by the way.
Oh yeah, I haven't
played during the credits.
Okay, I was wondering because I'd heard a couple things early on. I was like, "Where's that Church's song at?" Credits, huh?
And the credits.
Jesus.
oh, I heard it popped up in the game too.
Did not explore that area then.
Oh,
I'll have
Because
to.
certain areas have like scripted music.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Embrace the scene. This is the UCA.
There is a Black Friday sale already, and I bought Ace Combat 7: Skies Unknown.
And did you start it?
I did.
Okay.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
What happened?
I thought we were holding out for Microsoft Flight Simulator.
I couldn't hold out, like that's not till next year. Yeah, this is a weird fucking game, man. Like,
Isn't I know very little about this game, but I heard the story. It's fucking bonkers.
I'm barely at the bonker shit yet.
Look,
All right.
'cause I haven't touched an Ace Combat game, like maybe unless there was like a demo maybe or something. But to me, I always thought these were like true to life.
So did I.
Just jet combat games,
yep.
maybe some slight military thing, but overall it kind of has like a realistic, grounded.
That's exactly what I thought, but no.
Every cover gives me that. Like you could slap Flight Simulator on top of that.
Right.
I would think it's the same game.
Yeah, I was like scrolling through the PlayStation Now catalog in consideration of getting that and seeing
pseudo
a couple
Battlefield or something.
Yeah, they had Air Conflict or some bullshit knockoff thing that was like if you had swapped the title cards with the cover of any Ace Combat game, it'd be the same thing. But no, this is you do. So I did the expert controls, which means that when you turn left when you hit left and right on the left joystick. Probably. Yeah. Up goes down. Yeah. But the expert controls, if you pull left on the left joystick, your plane tilts.
Oh, okay.
If you do easy controls, when you pull left, the plane turns left, right? So in expert controls, L1 and R1 actually like turn you right or left on the plane of that you're.
I'm so used to Star Fox tilting the turn. Like
yeah,
so
and that's how the
for
easy
you
controls
to
would
bank,
work.
You're gonna have to turn say you want to go left. You have to turn left on the left and then down on the right analog stick to kind of make you swing like up, right?
Yes, and also what I've been doing is kind of like using more right stick and L1 if I'm gonna turn left.
All right.
Depending on how sharp I want to go too. There's also a lot of acceleration and deceleration you have to do in order to like really. And that, so the first mission, I played it once, got to the end of it with 3 minutes. You have 25 minutes to beat the mission. I had 3 minutes left. I beat it, and then I flew out of bounds and failed. Like, it said mission completed, and you just have to kind of, like, stay in the air for a couple seconds while, like, a dumb thing plays out, and then it fades to black. I didn't even get to that part. I got to the part where I flew out of bounds, and it just said, mission failed. And then I was like, all right, continue from last checkpoint. And I did that, and it took me back to 19 minutes left. I was like, oh, I guess there hasn't been a checkpoint that whole time. So I played it again, and I beat it a lot faster. And the second time around, honestly, I felt better about the controls.
Is there an overarching story?
Supposedly. I honestly, I played the first mission, and then I did a round of multiplayer, and that was all I did last night.
You did multiplayer?
Yeah.
How did that work out?
I got killed, basically right away, but... I wanted to see if it had a thriving community, and it sure does. Yeah, it is something. There is some weird story going on. There's a princess of anime, and I honestly, I don't know. They're very anime-ass characters. The game starts off where I guess you're the pilot you play as. I don't think I've ever seen her in the cockpits. I can't confirm if it is actually her, but there's a big monologue at the beginning about. Growing up, your grandfather wanted you to be a pilot and be able to see the skies or see the world from a different point of view and that kind of stuff. And how she built a plane with her grandfather and his old sky buddies and all that stuff. And
weird.
Yeah, I got kind of Hal Jordan vibes. You know what I mean? Like that kind of like that lineage of pilots and that desire to fly. That kind of like mentality behind a character, but.
Do the characters look anything from like Valkyria Chronicles?
They're not as I think I know what you're talking about in terms of like costume design stuff. Like they're not as like that out. They're not out there like that. It's just more like the way they act is a little over the top. But I believe because I looked a lot into this game before pulling the trigger and spending $30 on it.
There's a pseudo anime look to them.
And yeah, it's like
it's not all there, but
no.
I see it.
But I'm not there yet. Like I'm not at that point of like wild crazy shit. I'm like scratching the surface. I did the first mission where they're like, "Hey, there's some bad planes. They flew in and bombed some shit. You should stop them before they bomb more shit." And I'm like, "All right, cool." And then right at the end, as I was about to like the fade to black mission complete, anime lady comes up and she's like, "I'm the princess," and starts going into this whole monologue. And I was like, "All right, now we're getting weird. Let's fucking get weird." Apparently, these games are like not maybe fucking all the way full throttle there, but they scratch the Metal Gear itch for some folks. So I'm curious, very curious. So I'll keep dicking around with that this week.
This is so.
I just again like my
so
theme
bizarre.
for this year has been why not? So I It was I had seen it come out earlier this year, and I remember people talking about how weird the story was, and I was like, really? Ace Combat? I thought they were
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, whatever. I might try it. And all year long, I've kind of kept my eye on it, and it's never really hit a price where I was like, eh. And then right now, Black Friday sale, $30 on PSN, and I was like, all right, fuck it. Why not?
Fuck it.
Yeah. It was between that or, I actually don't know. What the fuck else was I looking at? I don't know. I was going back and forth with a couple things, and I was like, this is a brand new thing to me. Let's do this. Let's roll these dice. Speaking of rolling dice, I got just a quick little update on Ring Fit Adventure. It's been a few weeks. I just want to let you know that mostly every day, I play the game for about an hour. Been keeping up with it. I take like 1 or 2 days off a week from it, give or take. I've not taken off more than 2, but generally every day. I got to a point now, that game, man, it goes fucking places with the story's fucking stupid, right? It's just a stupid little dumb thing. But in terms of gameplay, like the stuff that you start unlocking and the abilities you get, like now I've got the ability, I think I talked before about smoothies you drink that can like boost your, you drink a strawberry smoothie, it's going to boost your arm attacks. You drink a blueberry or whatever. Now there's ones where they convert all of the skills you have equipped to a specific color. So even though, your ab skills are only strong, like they do double damage or 1.5 damage to yellow enemies, and the yoga ones do 1.5 to that. You can make everything have the advantage of a leg power. So if you're going into like a predominantly like leg, the game's pretty good at like spacing out your workouts. Assuming you do like 1 or 2 areas per day, it's good at spacing out the part of your body it's targeting as you move through a world. So the wave I just got through, I think it was like World 6, you fight these like four like gurus of different parts of your body. There's Allegra and Armando, and you can kind of follow it, right? So you have that whole thing going on.
Yes, I worked on this game.
Yes. And you get to a point where I got to a point where I was doing so much leg shit, I was kind of like tired of it. But it was nice where I got through that, and then it became pretty balanced again. But then as it started to get back to leg shit, I was having flashbacks of that, like, oh shit, I really don't feel like doing leg shit. But it was cool being able to drink a blue thing and make all my attacks, like make my arm attacks strong against blue things, so that even though in a stage where they really wanted me to focus on my legs, I could focus on something else, but still get the advantages of the world. I hit level 40 about a week ago, and you unlock a skill tree, which is fucking wild. It's a grid. It's like a 6x6 grid. You start in the center of it, and you just keep putting skill points in to branch out from that grid. There's cool shit. Like, I unlocked the ability to have an extra skill set, because I think by default you can only have 6 things assigned. Now I have 7 as I go into each battle. You get, +1 to this, plus mine, whatever. You unlock moves you can only unlock in that or whatever. But it's just been really solid, like I feel good. I feel like generally pretty good. There's a couple things that are still wonky about it, like whenever I do the plank, it's like I have to lay on the not all of it, but like by the time I get to the end of the planking, it's like, all right, well now I need to lay on the floor before the Joy-Con knows that I've lowered back down again. Occasional hiccups with some of the connectivity stuff, but nothing that's like, it happens once a session where like something stupid happens with the Joy-Con. I'm like, motherfucker, but then you move forward and whatever. But yeah, anyway, I'm just surprised that is still part of my life every day, basically.
That's good.
Yeah, it's cool. And that brings me to the other Switch game, Pokemon Sword. I got my first gym badge after probably 8 hours.
How's that feel, playing in gyms again?
So, all right. One, good, to the short answer. But so with gym battles, it's funny because I had heard someone say that in 22 hours they had gotten 6 gym badges and they're feeling pretty good, but that a friend of theirs had already beaten the game in 22 hours. So I have that, I fully understand that experience, because 8 hours in, I've got 1 gym badge that I just got, but I've spent so much time wandering around in that wild area. a lot of what I talked about last week, I immediately learned a lot more about. I believe we talked about, someone asked, could I see other players in the wild area? Yep, you can. I think we found that out as soon as we turned the podcast off and I turned on the game to show you guys. I don't know that it's necessarily like real-time players right there, like an MMO, but you do see other players running around. You can visit each other's camps and that kind of stuff. I
feel like I didn't see you cook, but I feel like it's not real time.
I don't think it is.
Because there'd be so many people just doing the same exact move, like an MMO, like you have the synchronized dancing and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like, there'd be some dumb shit happening.
I think it's an instance
happening.
of your player's character that you're seeing. I will say that when you turn on any online, like when you leave the online bit flipped on, you turn on that switch, the game chugs like a fucking butt. It's just, it's really, really just choppy and slow down and all that kind of stuff. So I've turned it on just to dick around and then I turn it right back off. But so yeah, I didn't talk about cooking last week on the show?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, I started to fill out my curry decks, which is a thing in this game. Not only do you have a Pokedex, you have a curry dex. So you'll get a main ingredient and then you get berries. And those are the two things you combine to make any of these curries. Mm. And it's a dumb little mini game, right? You go into a menu and you choose what your main ingredient is, and it could be anything from like spaghetti noodles to bread or dough or something or whatever, like shit like that. You throw that into the pot and you choose a couple berries to throw in. You throw those into the pot. Then you hit a bunch to fan the flames, and once it gets hot enough, then you use the right stick to stir it up, and then you serve it to your Pokemon while you're camping. They get a health boost, they get experience from you cooking, and you get a rating based on the quality of your meal. The cooking you can also do if you have a Joy-Con detached. You can do it with motion controls. I haven't checked it with a Switch Pro controller, but I assume it's probably the same. But you'd be like shaking it or stirring, that kind of motion. I don't know the full range of the scale, but I've seen the first dish I made was a banger. It was like A rating, and I forget which Pokemon they assigned to it. I do know that the one I made where I was like, oh yeah, sure, throw a fucking thing of spaghetti and one of these dumb berries in there. I got a Wobbuffet, and it was a D. It was like Wobbuffet scale, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess they don't like that one. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I spent so much time, the majority of the time, in the wild area, which I had no right being in some of the spots I was in. I was like wandering, and it's kind of fucked up. Like I got to a part where I saw a Dewskull, and I was like, oh, cool, I want him. Walk up, engage in battle. Most of my Pokemon average level at the time of encountering him were like 10, 11. Maybe my highest one was at 12. He was level 26.
God damn.
I was like, well, I really want him, and he would really help my party out. So I'm just going to waste all my Pokemon trying to knock him down to the red and then try and catch him. I do that successfully. Big pat on the back, right? Go to throw a Pokeball. Text box pops up. It seems the Pokemon is avoiding your something like it wouldn't even let me throw the thing because his level was too high. And I was like, you fucker. So I just knocked him out, got hella experience points. And then after the gym badge, now I can...
So wait, you still got experience with your Pokemon being dead?
Not all of them died.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that would have been wild. That would have been a big change. No, when they get knocked out, they do not get experience, just like normal. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy how many Pokemon they put in these different spots. And the wild area seems to transform throughout the day, time of day, and through the area that you're in. Like you'll find different areas that have different weather effects and different things like that. And it's cool. I realized after last week's conversation that me trying to not nickname my Pokemon in favor of remembering what they're called didn't work out anyway.
Nicky Boy.
So let's just fucking go all the way in. So last night I nicknamed my first one. I caught a Swirlix, who is now Sugar Boy.
I hope they all end with boy.
Yeah, something dumb's gonna happen. I know. I was gonna start going back and...
I was gonna say, make sure you're renaming that fox Nicky Boy.
Well, he's evolved now, and he's fucking badass, and I kind of don't want to name him. Because he evolved into I think he's called Thievis now.
Thievis boy.
I didn't name it. I promise. He evolved into a fox with like a big bandit mask. And as soon as he leveled into
His name's Swiper?
No, his name's Thievis. Like, I didn't name him that. That's his name. And he gets a fucking a move called Thief. As soon as he evolves, whatever level he evolves at, it's like Thievis wants to learn the move Thief. And I was like, oh, fuck. I turned the switch to Katie and I was like, of course. What the fuck is this?
God, they're just real lazy over there.
And then
They're like looking for anything now. They're like, oh my god, Dora. Oh, Swiper. Oh, can't call it. Thievy.
And then you get like a slightly different looking fox who has braces named Thuthead.
Dude, I'm looking for that. He's cool. That's the wild thing about this game is like I'm really happy that Game Freak did not show all of the, because I remember by the time that Sun and Moon came out, or actually you know so many of the Pokemon before you get the game, and this one, like, even though I had peeked at some of the leaks, I did not see any of these. Like, I love these fucking Pokemon. They're fucking so cool. The one that eventually evolves into Corviknight, like evolving that, you know, from its Pidgey form all the way up, is fucking cool. And I'm keeping Pokemon, like, you know, those early ones you get, fucking Rattata, I'm keeping them in my party just because I'm like, no, they're my dudes. Like, even though I caught things that are better, I'm like holding on to like the dumb squirrel that I got, who's basically the Rattata equivalent, like, because I want to see him evolve. I want to see him get into a big fat squirrel with a bigger fat cheeks. I want to name him Big Fat Cheeks. You know what I mean? That's my life. I will say though, as soon as I got a Pumpkaboo, one of those fuckers went right to the box. Are you kidding? I'm walking through a field. I was like, is that? Oh shit! Spent fucking beeline right to it. Got me a Pumpkaboo, leader in the party right now. Thank you very much.
What size is the Pumpkaboo?
I didn't check. I know, because that's a thing. Pumpkaboo is one of the rare ones, Matt, that has actual varied sizes listed in the Pokedex.
There's that one that's like based off of like a pastry or whatever.
Alchemy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't found that one yet.
There's a lot of forms to that one.
I know. I've heard.
It all depends what time of day.
I've heard.
What berry you're holding.
I've heard. So one of the big things in this game
pastry?
too. Yeah. It's French, Matt.
There's one that's based off of an apple pie.
Yeah.
Oh,
I can't fucking wait. So I did a couple of the big changes in this game, right? Like, I'm overwhelmed is too negative of a connotation, right? But I'm like, there's a lot of Pokemon. I'm having a tough time deciding what I want my party to be. I do appreciate the fact that at any moment I can just change my party up if I want. I don't have to go to a town, go to a Pokemon Center, go to like all that shit's gone, which is great.
You can even change out like Faint It.
Yeah.
That's cool.
The difference is because it could have completely broken the game, but just like in Let's Go, if you remember in past games, while you were in the Pokemon Center, it was sometimes faster just to load all of your party into your box and then pull them back out because the animation sequence for that versus going to Nurse Joy was faster to heal your Pokemon. But in this, if you put a Pokemon in your box, it does not heal them. It does not change status effects. They are exactly where they were. So it's not like you can be in the middle of the whatever and just swap out something and pull it back in and it'll be healed. Like it stays as it was. So I think that's the thing. But the other big changes to this game are the gym battles and then the Dynamax is the new big thing, which I didn't talk about last week.
Yeah.
I know. So gym battles, it goes back a little bit to that approach of like, remember the first game where
Hey, there we go.
yeah, right? Remember when you have to like move a boulder out of the way in order to work your way through it, right?
Yeah,
You know
and
what I'm
use strength to push
Right.
that boulder.
You
and
had
then,
like those
and
little
then
puzzles.
that got you to the next person. I was like, hey, dun-dun-dun-dun, and then you battled it.
So these gyms, before you get to the gym leader, seem to have a similar thing. The first one I did was, you all care about spoilers?
No.
What? No.
I've seen everything.
You
didn't play that Stranding. You haven't seen everything.
The first gym I play is I did my game was the grass gym. So the Pokemon there are the Walulu, the sheep Pokemon, and they kind of roll. So you have to walk behind them and roll 20 of them forward into a little pen. And you do that 3 times before you get to the gym battle. But along the way, the little electric corgi, which I forget its name. Yamper, will run up and start scaring them. So it kind of throws off. And you know what I mean? It's a little dumb mini game. But what it ends up doing is, as you're chasing them, you accidentally, lock eyes with one of the trainers in the gym. Now you're in a gym fight. There's ways to avoid that too. You don't have to, but...
That they set you up for it.
Yeah, they push you in that way. But you honestly, like, if you know what you're doing, can avoid all of that, which again breaks that whole kind of forced nature of some of the previous Pokemon games and really lets you choose what you do.
I would say not every gym you had to face everyone, though.
No. You could always find a way, but this one seems even more...
But it's like, why would you avoid it? Because, like, it's all about getting experience.
Well, that's the thing. By the time I'm getting to this gym, I'm fucking over leveled.
Yeah,
because
remember, it's Oprah here. This is Oprah's Pokemon experience for everyone.
I've been hanging out in the wild area.
Overlevel's what you want anyway. But
yeah, but so yeah.
Go ahead. No, I was gonna ask, I've never had an issue. I mean, yes, I've only played Blue, but I've replayed Blue and Fire Red. I feel like a good portion of the way a few times, but I've never had an issue with worrying about what's the term here, like a trust level, like the discipline level that you get with the badges. Is that going to be a concern for you at some point, you think? Or is that even in this game?
Oh, in terms of I don't know if it is. So when I got my first one, they said, hey, you can now catch Pokemon up to level something or whatever it was. They didn't say that they'll listen to you. Like, they didn't. That wasn't in there.
Yeah,
listen, that's probably.
I don't think that'll even be a factor because of that. Because you're limited on what you can catch.
I bet you their limitation is that dialogue pop up you saw trying to catch that.
But I wonder if I had just power leveled my party. Like I don't know how that would end up. It might. I'm sure that there might be something. Someone calls you.
I realize what I said.
Huh?
I just said when you try to catch that piece of bread and no one phased, there's a bread Pokemon in this game.
I think there is a bread Pokemon in this game. Yeah. But I don't get it. Dude, it's fucking good. This is honestly this is the best new Pokemon game in a really long time.
This actually I'm not gonna play it, I'm just gonna be frank, but this actually is the first one in a while. It's there's some it's not your traditional Pokemon game anymore. It's not all right.
But it still is, and that's the cool thing.
Yeah,
you know?
but all that bullshit's gone.
Yeah, there's so much stripped out that just streamlines it.
The ease to it all is a lot. There's no more grinding.
It's not perfect. It's not where I want Pokemon to be. It's not the one where I'm going to hold it up and be like, wow, But it makes the thought of returning to one of the old ones seem a little more
daunting.
Yeah, there have been ones with cooler features and better. There are that you can do that, but for what this game is and looking at it for what this game is and not what it's not, I think that there's a lot to it. The gym battles, it was weird. The first one, at least I've only did the grass gym, so I fought the gym leader. He's only got 2 Pokemon, and they were kind of easy to beat. But
I mean, that's usually how it goes.
Yeah, it was just felt easy.
I mean,
and I wasn't.
Does Brock have? It was
yeah. I don't know.
Strong Adonix and then a little bitch Geodude, right?
I don't know. I just felt like I fucking rolled in there ready to fight, and he was like, hey, here's this dumb flower, and then another dumb flower. And I was like, all right, cool, later, dude. Granted, I did have a little bit of a tough time because I didn't go in with anything that was strong against him. I used Pokemon.
You didn't have the right weaknesses.
I intentionally so. I didn't pull anything in. I just kind of kept with my party knowing that I was going to be moderately, even matched with him. But I did Dynamax my Pumpkaboo just to see what that was all about. And it's cool. You do a dumb little animation with your wrists, kind of similar to the Mega Evolutions or the Z moves. Your Pokemon blows up into this huge, gigantic version of itself that floats above, and the whole stadium surrounding you is cheering and clapping. And
didn't they say that that's like a hologram? It's not really them growing.
Yeah. But visually, it's this big presence. And the moveset changes. It's still your moves, but they're mildly different and much more powerful. You get a bump to your hit points while you're in this big mode or whatever. And it lasts for 3 turns. And then after 3 turns, they return to normal size. But it's a big spectacle of a thing. It's cool. I don't know that it adds anything. The Mega Evolutions kind of added a thing because they changed the, it was an evolution of sorts. So I don't know. It's kind of, it's
reminds
fine.
me of an Aeon from what you just said, in Final Fantasy, where it's a quick little hitter and it does a lot of damage and then it's out.
Yeah, and it's neat. I feel like I don't necessarily need the gimmicks, but I understand in the stadium context, it's kind of cool to have a big right. But yeah, I did that, and then that's kind of it. I started wandering toward the next town and just seeing what's out there. I keep continually being surprised at the new Pokemon, at finding which old Pokemon are in the game. I think that the game looks really good still. It just, the areas seem dynamic and unique, and I did not think I was going to like the Dynamaxing. I thought that looks, from the preview phase, this looks stupid. The, the Pokemon, like some of the like the Britishisms actually still are like grating on me a little bit. Like I don't know if it's an American thing where like we're like, nah, dude, color spelled like with just an O and not a fucking U. I'm not saying I've seen the word color, but yeah, like all the little things like that where I'm like,
their gray is spelled with an E, ours is with an A.
Right, like get it right. Come on.
It's not that big of a deal, guys.
It's just one of those
really
things.
Not that big of a deal.
I don't know. It's just a thing. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It just.
Well,
I'd rather read it than hear it, though.
Yeah, you're
just
right.
personally.
Yeah, no, because then when you, yes.
Some accents I just can't.
Yeah. But anywho, I like it. I like it a bunch. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna try and get some more gym badges by next time. Like I'm just trying to spend a little less time wandering, but
clock's ticking, boy.
I don't know. Yeah, this one I don't feel like I'm like grinding to get all. You know what I mean? I'm just like, this is cool.
All right.
I think Hop's pretty dumb. But
I mean, I have like 8 games to beat between now and.
God, dude.
I mean, it's not gonna happen. But
yeah, no. Well, I forgot we still have another.
Hold on. Wait, hold on. All these games that we've talked about today, pause button. Guess the only new one was Ace Combat.
Yep.
Great.
Yep.
All right. Strand genre?
I
don't know. It seems like you're going to these gyms and putting them back on the chiral network.
No, they're already.
And when
connected.
these Pokemon faint, they find their beach.
No, God, no.
Control might be closer to a Strand genre than.
Yeah, there's the Hiss and the Death Stranding have a lot of things in common, actually.
A lot of interdimensional things.
I hope that this year is the end of the Strand genre. I'm good. If we never have another game in the Strand genre.
Can't strand it, huh?
I'm going to go strand myself in a break. And when we come back, we're going to hit you with some headlines and celebrate one of Sega's consoles. We'll be right back. Despite Half-Life Alyx being announced, kind of a small week for news. But there's still a couple things, such as potentially what the PlayStation 5 controller might look like. Of course, if things go like last generation, we're only but a few months away from potentially seeing the PlayStation 5 for the first time. But a patent has shown up in Japan that maybe is the DualShock 5 and maybe looks almost exactly like a DualShock 4. Sadly.
Oh, no, why?
Fuck the touchpad.
Touchpad's fine.
Touchpad
It makes me think
sucks.
that you'll just be able to use DualShock 4 with it.
Yeah.
I've kind of gotten used to. I like having that second start button, one that takes you to a dedicated pause menu, and the other one that brings up like a map or some kind of sub menu.
Yeah.
It's something I feel like the Xbox kind of lacks now when you go back and forth.
I don't know, man. They got rid of the light bar, but they kept the. I don't know.
I'd rather keep the light bar. Like I kind of like a little.
This is what, smaller joysticks?
Yeah, like
Right?
yeah.
So, what?
Yeah, it's fine with the joy.
Getting more of like a Vita vibe from that.
I don't think are they that small?
I hope they're not that small. They can't be that small.
I don't know. It's just what it reminds me
Vita
of.
joysticks,
I'm not
like-
saying it's that size, but
The Vita joysticks are fine for the Vita, but
shrinking joysticks, I don't know if is a good thing or not.
I think they look relatively the same, though. At least according to these patent images side by side. The
Yeah.
joysticks
And
look-
for all we know, this is not final, right? Or is it stating that it is?
It's probably close to final. I'm sure there's
Yeah.
some minor things that might change, but
I kind of liked the light bar, but at the same time, I think if they did something different with it, that would have been cool if they still implemented it in a different way.
Yeah.
Because like, it was cool seeing it affect depending on what game you played, like how it worked. Like, this is stupid, but there was one day where I was playing Rock Band.
Mhm.
And if you just had, I mean, you're not using the controller really for that game, but if you have it off to the side, you can see the lights flashing depending on the song you're doing. It's just
yeah.
it's a nice little thing.
There's little things like that that are definitely nice touches. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe soon. Animal Crossing Pocket Camp has announced a new paid subscription model.
Yeah, it fucking would.
It was weird, because after that Mario Kart Tour, when it was like, that's the first one to do that. Well, not to be outdone, Pocket Camp introduces 2 new options for a paid monthly subscription that are both weird. For $2.99 United States money per month, you can get one of the animals to play the game for you, so you don't have to do all the stuff that you'd normally do by opening the game. And for $7.99 a month, you can do that, plus get a little bit extra storage, and get 5 free fortune cookies, aka loot boxes, of your choosing. That's the one. I mean, none of it's good, right? But it's like any of the past fortune cookies that are, because the fortune cookies rotate in and out of season and things like that. You can choose any 5.
So you
each
mean
month.
In this social game where money is an option to buy things that you want, I can send a little AI person of my choice to go around and do the socializing for me and collecting stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So they did this before, but for free.
Well, the thing is, so this game has had, because I jump in and out of this game every once in a while just to be like, oh, it's this time of year, or there's a promotion with Splatoon or whatever. I don't think there's been a Fire Emblem. But, I'll open it up, and now they've gotten really heavy into these kind of like short-term event challenges. There was one earlier this year, there was like a Hello Kitty tie-in thing, which I didn't really care about, but I saw like kind of the beat of that, and it was like, the things they want you to do, you basically need to play this game every couple hours to keep, if you want to keep up with it. So having something like this where all of a sudden it streamlines that process just for a couple bucks a month, if you're really into Animal Crossing, I can see why you'd want to do it. I
was just saying, me too, I did it for free.
Oh, well, yeah, but remember,
that's all I was pointing at.
Testing ground. I know.
Not for me.
I know.
That was life.
I know.
I mean, I know it's like weird to think about, but I mean, like, are we all still spending $4.99 for Apple Arcade, and how much are we actually using that right now?
No.
Nope.
I canceled that.
Canceled, yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so I'm the only Apple still. Okay.
Yeah. No, I was like, no, there's nothing here that I want to play. This is fine. I got out.
All right. Well, fair enough.
But I did get back into Street Fighter V, thanks to the announcement of the Championship Edition this last week.
This was made for you.
Yeah, this is cool. I've like dabbled with Street Fighter V through the years. Never got to the point of Ben where, I was good at the game. But Championship Edition, $29.99, coming out February 14th, 2020. Will include 40 characters. Right now in the game there are 38. So the 39th character, Gil, from Street Fighter 3, will be added February. And then an unknown 40th character to be added after. This Championship Edition includes all characters released up until now, all stages released up until now, all costumes released up until now, except for some of the weird exclusive ones and things. There's a couple things it does not include, but generally everything is there, including the Darkstalkers costumes, which, if you're like me and already bought Morrigan, that's cool because now you get the rest of them too. What else? And there's a $24.99 upgrade.
Just about to ask that question.
Yes.
That's
so
cool.
if you already have any version of the game for $25, you can unlock.
They did
all
the same thing
stuff.
with 4.
Yeah.
It's the same exact model.
So
Still can't fix Ken's face though.
no, but you can dress Ryu up like Mega Man.
Is
It's
he-
cool, man. It was neat jumping back in, and I finally got to play some characters that I hadn't played that came out with DLC that I didn't jump in and buy. So.
I forget the one dude's name I really liked.
Kage.
No. The boxer. Not
Balrog?
No.
Oh.
His predecessor or whatever. No, not a predecessor.
His senpai?
No. His student or whatever.
Oh.
Successor. Yeah.
I don't know.
He was like he has like Shadowloo powers, but he's also a boxer, so it's a cool mix.
I'll pull it up after.
I think his name is Ed.
That sounds right. Is he the guy who's always in the background? They kind of brought him into the...
Kind of. He has like
As
hair
a-
over one eye, blonde.
I remember there was a character they added to the game that
Just
was like...
described a lot of anime characters.
I did. I described half of Street Fighter.
Yeah.
No, he's cool though. I liked him.
But no, it was fun jumping around a little Street Fighter this week. Went online. won a round, not a match.
Oh,
around.
how
That's a
long?
start.
Round.
How long did it take to load to get to the main menu?
Like
After pressing start.
Well, I didn't install. I had to reinstall the game, so it did that staging version of it where I could get in and whatever. But I don't remember it being that.
It was always super long for me.
I think it's still probably super long, but
Dragon Balls was always long too. Like, I think it's just like
Dragon Balls is not as long as Street Fighters. I know that much.
I feel like Street Fighter's pretty. I don't remember.
Street Fighter is like up there with Tower. At least when it first came out. I don't know how it is now. But I figure with all that content you're loading too, probably every time.
Yeah. I think that's it on news. That at least stuff that we had kind of pulled out.
I saw. I guess it wasn't anything that was worth mentioning, but it's interesting.
Yeah.
So you remember Cortana, the voice search system, like Siri equivalent for Xbox.
Yes.
Now you can do Google.
Yeah, they had Alexa in your Xbox for a while as an option if you have a compatible device or something like that, and now Google Assistant is integrated as well.
So can you turn that off or?
It's an opt-in thing. Yeah, it's not something that's automated or turned on automatically. We did find, I think a couple months ago, we had that news story about how
because didn't they get rid of Cortana?
I think that update's not fully rolled out yet to all. It's like in the insider ring, but it's not rolled out to everybody's Xbox yet. But they are removing a lot of that stuff from Xbox in favor of other things. But there was a news story about like the Cortana stuff, like recording you. And then I looked into my Microsoft account, and you can see transcripts of all the shit that you've ever said into your microphone. That was kind of cool. Yeah. I saw Pokemon Sword and Shield sold 6 million copies in 3 days.
I mean, not surprised.
Oh, yeah, but Mark, haven't you read Twitter? The game's terrible.
I mean, there's some things I don't care about it, but I wouldn't say it's terrible.
No, I know. I'm just saying. You had all those fucking...
Yeah, that backlash.
Just to show you, the loud minority is just that.
Brand recognition, man.
Yeah.
I mean, what were they expecting? That's the only thing I don't understand.
Well, Matt, Game Freak lied. Not sure if you know this, but one more. I do have one more news story that makes me real mad. Friday, November 22nd, Nintendo opened its Tokyo store. Just a month after I get fucking home from Japan, and God, did you see the inside of that thing?
I saw the window art,
Dude. Take the window art and blow it up into big displays for each of those franchises. There are giant statues for each franchise. There's all this merch. It's insane.
Well, Nintendo New York added a Bowser statue. He's like busting out of the wall. It's kind of cool.
That's pretty cool. But this has literally like a giant Squid Kid, a giant Link, and there's all this merch around. Oh, it looks so fucking cool.
I think I do remember seeing the Link. It's Twilight Princess Link, which is funny. That not Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. Did you see the fucking Pokemon one? So that little shopping center, that opened up the Nintendo store also opened a Pokemon center or reopened it or whatever, and they have a giant fucking Mewtwo in the capsule. Oh, it's fucking cool looking.
Yeah, we won't get that.
No. But yeah, I was looking at pictures of that, and I was like, because I was in Japan when they announced it was opening, because I didn't think it was supposed to open until next year, like in line with the Olympics, and I was like, well, whatever, we'll miss that, and then no, we fucking missed it by like a month.
Yep, should stay a little longer.
Dude, if someone would have mailed
move
my,
there.
If you guys would have mailed my pups to me, we wouldn't have come back. Tell you what.
How does that work? Mailing pups.
You put them in these big breathable crates, and you just throw it on top of the rest of the luggage on top of your back as you're running through.
You have to make sure they don't touch water.
Yeah. Easy breezy.
Zip line.
Very fragile box too. Rumor, but it's Eurogamer, so I'll give it.
Oh yeah. No, yeah, this one has some. Eurogamer basically confirmed everything the Switch was. So.
Yes. Resident Evil 3 remake.
Yeah.
I mean, Capcom already said they were going to explore more remakes. But they've seen Eurogamer has heard even more sources that Resident Evil 3 Nemesis remake is in the works.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
it's 2020.
I mean, didn't they say they were going to do 3 anyway?
I thought that basically in some interview
They never said we are remaking 3, but they were like, oh, we were looking at our other projects to remake or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think it was like the Resident Evil team that said it, not just
Yeah,
Capcom.
Yeah, like, what? I mean, I could easily see this being a January release.
If they did that as a...
Like, this whole time, it's probably they've been working on it, and then they had B-Team doing Project Resistance.
Yeah. If they did a Game Awards, like, yo, it's out next month, like, that'd be wild. But
I could see that happening.
I mean, I don't... The tech's there. I mean, even with Mr. X, like, the tech...
I don't know.
The tech is there.
I don't know what else Capcom has in store other than that.
Because, I mean, they've been pretty beat for beat for January releases each January up until now.
I mean,
now there's nothing.
I mean, I would like 8 over this, to be honest. But
yeah, but if 8's got to cook, I'd rather let that cook. Like all the tech is there. It's pretty much just I feel like the assets.
I've never played 3, like original, so
yeah, I mean,
they would have to create Raccoon City though, and that's something though. Didn't they cut that from 2? Weren't they working on a bigger Raccoon City?
Oh, were they?
Intro portion.
Oh, interesting.
That would make sense. I mean,
because 2, there's a lot that happens in that city before you get to the.
Yeah, it's a lot of fire and through the fire and flames.
I think that was in their initial design to make that a little bit more grander, but then
it's like they took a part of it and threw it in the middle of the game.
Yeah,
because like they switched some things up where you go outside for a little bit.
But yeah, like if I mean,
the gun shop. And
they'd have to implement a bigger Raccoon City, but. Hey, I mean, if they've already kind of had some of that groundwork, man. I don't know how long that takes, but I mean, it's there.
I want to see Jill in this new engine,
and then the police station's already there.
Yeah, it's
got
true.
to literally copy and paste that police station, and then
I got to get my grind on first. I got to get through. I want to play 5 and 6. I gotta get. No, and I do want to play 7. I was gonna buy 7, but it's not on sale on PlayStation.
It's not on sale.
It's on sale on Xbox, but not on PlayStation.
Let's go to 7.
If you want to borrow the VR headset,
oh yeah,
that's what I recommend. But...
Oh, I might do that actually because Ace Combat has an exclusive VR mode too.
I feel like I would die,
dude. I'm ready to fucking vomit. Make me sick.
I wrecked in that Drive Club demo in a car in VR, and I was like, oh god, this is way too real.
Make me sick. I'm fucking down. You know
I'm
what?
not using it.
If you're not using it, I will gladly borrow it for a little while.
Go ahead.
Oh, dude.
I'll put it for 5 minutes, and as soon.
I mean, I only got VR for Resident Evil. Like that's how much I wanted it.
Yeah. No, because after buying that last night, I was like, "Ooh, hey, that the VR mode. There's a Black Friday deal on that VR headset. Maybe I'll go grab one." But I forgot you have one. Yeah, if you're not using it, I'll borrow it.
Go ahead.
Let's talk Sega Saturn. And I'm trying to do that with my voice a little bit in a lower register there. How about that? Let's talk Sega Saturn. Out 25 years ago as of Friday, the Sega Saturn launched November 22nd, 1994 in Japan with 5 games during its launch lineup. Those 5 games, Matt? Virtua Fighter, Myst, Wanchai Connection, Tama, Mahjong Goku Tenjiku. Clock Knight work soon followed the launch, but those were your 5 launch games.
Bangers.
So it's funny because that Clock Knight one,
Clockwork Knight.
That's honestly, I would say that's the first Keyblade.
Oh,
Have you seen the cover of that game?
Yeah, I could see that.
Suck it, Kingdom Hearts fans.
So, the Saturn saw moderate success in the Japanese market for the time that it spent ahead of its North American release. A large portion of its library was made up of arcade ports that rivaled the original hardware capabilities and played close to those experiences that players had in the arcade. A lot of that stuff, Virtua Fighter,
Area 51.
Yeah, those were all very, very faithful ports of the arcade stuff that you really couldn't get at home prior to the Sega Saturn. It also brought forth unique experiences like Panzer Dragoon, and it gave birth to franchises like Dead or Alive, Grandia, and Lunar. Actually, I don't think Grandia turned it into a franchise.
What?
Was there a second Grandia?
I thought Grandia sounds like a franchise to me.
Yeah, I know.
Is it not?
I don't know.
Oh. Interesting.
But funnily enough, each of those, Dead or Alive, Grandia, and Lunar, never left Japan on the Saturn. They stayed on the Saturn in Japan, where we got the PlayStation 1 versions of those games. But in Japan, it became home to a large library of RPGs and games that never released anywhere else. Saturn sits with, about 1,000 titles, over 1,000 if you're including like compilations and things like that. In America, the sudden release in May of 1995 at a price point $100 above Sony's new PlayStation became a story that shaped the future of Sega and made way for another competitor to enter the market. And games like Sonic Adventure 3, Shenmue, and Virtua Fighter 3 would never make it to the platform, would instead move to the Dreamcast, which was eager to succeed Sega Saturn in 1999. Today, emulation for Sega Saturn is still an ongoing problem that a very, very strong, dedicated community of folks are fighting to solve, but it is better than it's ever been. I think most things generally work now in some capacity, but perhaps due to that difficulty, we often have not seen a lot of the games on the platform widely available, unless they were something that was part of a bigger series or something that had sequels that kind of begged for the originals to be played in some form. So, what are your memories of Sega Saturn, and where does it sit with you today?
I mean, as a kid, I knew there was a Genesis.
Yeah.
My cousin had it. And then I heard that word Saturn.
Yeah.
And then I heard PlayStation. And then I got a PlayStation.
Mark?
Playing demos of Knights at Toys R Us.
Yeah.
And then kind of touching it again at my friend's house. And then maybe trying... Nope, I think that's it.
Yeah, I remember, I was a Genesis kid, did not have Super Nintendo, and loved my Genesis. And I remember hearing about a new one, but the thing that, one, we were all young when this came out. So
I'm going to say, that's what I was just about to say.
Yeah.
That small age gap between us, this is like that time that it reflects.
But even still, I was young enough where I don't fucking... but I think that's part of it. The world was, different then. You didn't have companies advertising to you in the way and volume that they can now. And I think knowledge wasn't as... It's not like the internet, right? The internet changed a lot of that stuff for us and the accessibility of those things. But back then, you had video game magazines were the primary source. Ads for big box stores and things like that. You would see things. But in America, when the Saturn launched in Japan, we got the 32X, which was already weird enough. And something that I don't think was on my radar.
Was the 32X before or after CD?
Oh gosh, I want
to say before. It just sounds like a before thing to me.
I can't remember.
If I were to go back and play Saturn though, I want to play Sonic Jam.
Yeah.
I know it's just a collection, excluding CD and 3D or whatever, but I don't know. It's something about having a low poly Sonic run around between everything. I think like an interactive museum. I like that.
32X was after the
Sega
Sega CD by 2 years. But so speaking of Sonic though, that was a big reason why I never jumped to the Saturn when it was coming out, because once it became a thing where I was at least aware of it. I remember going to a friend's house who had the Saturn, and I thought the controller was weird because it was kind of the same, but it was different. It was 6-button, but it had a weird...
It felt big
shape.
to me, if I can remember correctly.
Because the Genesis had that smooth kind of Yoop around to it, and this one had... You know what I'm talking? You know the Yoop. That smooth Yoop. The Saturn controller...
by its Yoop factor now.
The Saturn controller had that weird ridge at the top. It was it was weird.
That prototype PS3 had a good Yoop.
That had a real good Yoop. That was a good Yoop. But I remember going to his house and playing. I don't even know what the fuck we played. I don't remember the game at all. But I remember saying, "Okay, well, where's the Sonic game?" And there was never a Sonic game. There was never that thing that grabbed us. You had Sonic Extreme, which was long in development for that platform that was trying to bring Sonic into the 3D space. But the problem with the Genesis in that regard, there was a lot of things that caused the Saturn to not succeed, but one of the small factors was the fact that Sega doubled down on 2D. The console was capable of doing 3Ds, but it was sprite-based 3D, not polygonal 3D.
Guardian Heroes.
Yeah, right. And Panzer, right? Like Panzer's all sprite-based, which is...
Is it?
I mean, you should watch the Digital Foundry thing on it. It's fucking fascinating. But
no.
finest.
I think I'm just thinking of Orta. I'm not thinking about OG.
I mean, it's impressive what they did, but it's like the stuff they had to do was like the Donkey Kong Country level of stuff, right? Where it's like doing 3D on polygonal 3D on a Sega Saturn was very difficult. Where the Sony PlayStation and the Nintendo 64 were capable of doing those things natively. This was
that explains why Knights was so weird.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't even understand how that game worked or how to control it, so that's why I never gave it much time.
I just played it like a week ago, and I still don't know what the fuck to do with that game.
You just go through rings.
Yeah, but I failed.
Superman 64.
It's basically Superman 64 with a jester.
Yeah.
But you're also a little girl who becomes a jester.
Or, boy or girl. You get to choose.
Yeah. But there was never that Sonic game. Sonic Extreme was in development. It kind of went through some things. Reportedly, the development team, someone left, 2 other people got sick, and then they were like, all right, fuck it, we're not going to finish the game. At one point, they had tried to use the Knights engine to make that game, and Yuji Naka was like, fuck you. Like, did not want that to happen at all. Like, no, we are leaving Sonic behind. We are in this new world called Knights. It just... a lot of weird stuff. This was when Tom Kalinske left, and Tom Kalinske had headed Sega of America and brought the Genesis to the heights that it did. And a lot of the Genesis's success was due to him, definitely him, but also the fact that Sega of America finally got to make some calls where before it was just Japan said, this is how it is. He was able to go to Japan and say, this is how it's going to work in America. And there's a story that it was in Console Wars, and there's different interviews with him where he's talked about it, but where he said, we need to get, because I think the pack-in title for the Genesis was fucking Altered Beast, which, come on, right? Like, no one's buying a Genesis for Altered Beast. He convinced him to put Sonic in the game, or in the box. And there's a story about how he went in, said, this is what we need, blah, 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 listed out, this is how things are going to work in North America for the Genesis. The executives talked to each other for 2 hours in Japanese, and he had no idea what the fuck was going on. They stood up and walked, like they all left, and then I think it was the head of Sega or whatever just walked up to him and said, like, okay, you can do what you want. Which is like, he was like, wait, what? I thought I was getting fired. But ended up, yeah, like that's what led the Genesis to be a success. But then with the Saturn era, that was very much Japan going back to the ways of like, nah, you're going to do what we say, and this is how it's going to work. And that kind of just... obviously, it worked well in Japan, because the Saturn did really well in Japan, but not so well in America. And a lot of those games would never come here, which is a shame, because...
it's so weird. It's like the reverse with like Xbox in Japan.
It really is, yeah. Especially considering that Sega was originally an American company. Right? Founded here.
Was it?
I'm pretty sure. Now you got me second guessing myself.
That
Yeah. Sorry.
Wow.
So Sega is...
it was founded in Hawaii.
Okay. The bridge between the two.
It's that knot. It's that knot in the Chiral network that's right between it all.
Yeah.
I wonder what that beach is like, but that's all fucked up.
Tourists. What, Hawaii?
No, the Sega Saturn knot.
Oh.
They're like the Sega's like Afterlife Beach.
Yeah, I don't know.
A lot of dead Sonics in there.
No. It's the beach in the first Sonic Adventure. The first mission. We gotta go get Tails because he flew drunk.
And the first NPC is like, hey, guess what? Camera's gonna be a thing, but you'll get used to it.
Yeah,
Sega, you'll get used to it.
It's funny, like, in hindsight, I wish that. But I mean, in hindsight, I wish I could have all that shit. But we make the choices we make, and the market plays out the way it plays out. But I don't know. I have a weird lately. I've been thinking a lot more about, maybe just because more people are writing about Saturn, but in the last couple months, I've been thinking about the Saturn a lot. And it's just this completely unknown entity to me. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the thing where it's like chasing those new experiences. Like, it's cool that there's still this like whole library of weird shit that's completely brand new to me because I never.
Yeah, Sega's timing was a weird one for sure. Between that and Dreamcast, it had a lot to compete with.
Yeah.
And yeah, when you have some like PlayStation out there, it's gonna be
The Dreamcast was killed by the PlayStation 2. I mean, that was just a tidal wave of marketing and power and stuff like that. But Saturn shot themselves in the foot because, like, as you said earlier, the internet wasn't a thing. Like, you can't just do guerrilla marketing on a dime like that. Like, you have to wait for magazines to publish articles, Q&As, like ads.
Kids skip school to get a PS2.
Yeah.
Like, you just can't. Even now, I find it hard to just drop a like, I'm down. I was down for, like, saying Death Stranding's out today or whatever, but a console, that's $400, $500. That's
I mean, even Nintendo will surprise you with an announcement of a new model of the Switch, but it's very much like
a new model of the
Switch. It's a new model, and they announce it months ahead of its release. You know, it's not like I guess they kind of did it with the 2DS once.
Yes, Saturn wasn't really
that's
on my radar.
It was like the second iteration.
It's not the.
No, not the. No, that was unprecedented for sure. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird legacy of things, but it's cool how much weird shit is still out there that I've never seen, never.
Yeah,
you know?
like I think once the internet got a little more easier to access for me, when I started discovering like sprite sheets and like ROMs, emulators, and all that stuff, is when I started discovering newer platforms, like the whole like Neo Geo side of things.
Yeah.
That's still like unknown territory for me. But like discovering the Wonder Swan, I was like, whoa! I wish I had this whenever it first came out or whatever. I still kind of want one. But like that's such a neat little thing.
I think that's the cool thing too, though, with like a lot of the stuff. Like we've seen a lot of those Neo Geo games brought over to modern platforms from Hamster and a lot of those ports and stuff. So you can kind of experience those like. Yeah. I never played King of Fighters, but I started fucking around with it because they're on Switch now. And M2's been doing all that stuff with the Sega Ages series to keep a lot of the, like, to bring more than just Sonic to modern platforms. Like, there's nothing wrong with Sonic, but there's stuff like, I had never played Phantasy Star because it's just weird and obtuse. Like, who's going to play a Master System game now? But M2 ported it and did a lot of work to make it cool in a modern era. So I'm looking at the library of the Sega Ages stuff right now that's been released on Switch, and to date, it's only been Genesis and Master System stuff, unless I'm mistaken by one of these, but nothing Saturn related, which I think would be cool if they could start to get to Saturn stuff.
Yeah, I mean, but you were saying earlier, like that. I guess that stuff is kind of hard to preserve and translate and whatever, and emulate and whatnot, because I would say so is the 64. Like they're such in a weird.
Yeah.
I mean, there were some games on Virtual Console, right? Like on Wii or Wii U.
Yeah.
There were some 64 games, but I know more often than not, a lot of those. The one you think that wouldn't be hard to emulate are actually really tough. Yoshi's Story, good example.
Yeah.
Like, I know, like, if you try to play it on a PC, maybe there's a better emulator now at this current time, but, like, when I first tried that, a lot of textures could not load for some reason, or just things, I don't know, and that's all, like, a 2D, basically sprite-based game.
But they're because of probably how they built it, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of that weird shit.
Were they around the same time? Right?
What's that?
So what, Saturn, PlayStation, and 64? Was that like...
That was
that was that generation,
Yeah.
I mean, you still see some of that weird shit of architecture, and that's why it was such a big deal when Xbox and PlayStation came out and said, hey, like, these are easy to develop for. This is essentially a PC and a console box with a couple of tweaks.
That was the thing with the Saturn. The Saturn was basically the PS3 of its day, where it was just like, what
How
the
fuck do you develop this?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so you had that, but the difference was it was a company, the Sega company was at that weird divide between markets, and they weren't all working together, and they didn't have endless money to throw at it from other things, where Sony with the PlayStation 3 even though that was just a whatever, they were coming off the wave of the PS2, which, not to say the Genesis wasn't successful, but the Genesis was no PS2, right? You had all that PS2 money, plus, the rest of Sony, the pictures.
I was going to say, and then,
Yeah.
PlayStation 3, I mean, its sales didn't start off well, but, like, that ushered in the Blu-ray system, essentially won them that war against HD DVD.
It had all those other things that could keep that thing afloat despite it being whatever. When it was just a video game console, the Saturn, it's hard to...
Especially the early PS3 when it had the backwards compatibility built in.
That first model, the 60 gig one, right?
Yeah.
I think you could get a 20 or a 60.
I think the 20 wasn't backwards compatible. I think you had to get the 60.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And then later just took it out.
Yeah. Well, happy anniversary, Sega Saturn.
I saw that GameCube turned 18 or something like that.
Yeah, so did Smash.
A lot of releases in November.
I mean, that's when they
It's
come
that
out
time
in
of
time
year.
for the holidays.
Yeah, I'm hopeful in the future that there's some cool stuff for Sega Saturn. I think all of that stuff. I think inevitably what I want to see is just we have the ability to play all this stuff preserved. We talked about game preservation last week. Just there's so much stuff that I hope that we can still
It's going to take
access.
some time probably for sure.
Yeah. If you have some Sega Saturn memories, because none of us owned it, we barely played it, but I am an appreciator from afar. Write in, send us your stories. We'll read them. I'd love to hear about it. Honestly, I want to hear what was it like if you had one. Did you also have the other platforms? Did your friends make fun of you? Did you make fun of your friends for not being as cool as you and having a Sega Saturn? Do you still have it? I kind of want to go buy one. I could, yeah. All right, I'm going to go buy one. Start small, you know what I mean?
Yeah, start small, get an N-Gauge.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Would you get to a point where you have like specific TVs for each console?
I could see that.
Different CRT.
I could see that. Yeah. That's the line you have to like be very careful with. Like, because I hear it. You know what I mean? Like I can hear all the like. Well, you really have to get a Sony PVM, like all that shit. Like I'm not there. Well, if you have to get an upscaler and you want to get a like.
Like, did you see the note clip with the ESRB?
Mm-hmm.
That's what made me think of it. Like
Yeah.
I saw their old like shelving unit for each. They have like a specific thing.
Yeah.
It's all set up weird.
I'd love it, but it's just a lot of upkeep and a
Different
lot of
screen ratios.
Oh man. Podcast at thefreecheese.com is the email where you can send in your Saturn stories or any story or any question. We'll read anything.
Ask us anything.
Do it. Have you found Britface, yo? Let us know, because we still... Jury's out.
I need picture evidence for that one.
That's true. That's true. God. What do you think we could do this. This will turn into a 6-hour podcast. You can follow us all on Twitter. The Free Cheese is at some Free Cheese. Matt, what are you playing this week? Yeah, what are you going to do? You got Death Stranding out of the way.
Going back to a time long ago that happens to be in a galaxy far, far away.
Death Stranding 2?
No,
Yeah.
I don't think I could bring myself to play Death Stranding 2 right now.
No. Yeah, because you barely scratched the surface on Jedi, right?
Yeah, I played it just an hour, just literally to talk about on the podcast, and I thought I was going to get to it this week, but Death Stranding kind of consumed me. But yeah, that's going to be my main staple. I might touch After Party this week. I don't know. We'll see how the week goes.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving's a little weird.
Oh, I fucking can't. I forgot that this week. Ooh, boy, I'm cooking. I'm going to be... Oh, man. I love Thanksgiving. That's my favorite.
Nothing wrong with Thanksgiving, just, time for games, kind of. And I'm going to hockey game on Wednesday night, so.
Yeah, that'll chip into it. See, Wednesday night for me, slip into some video games, play until the wee hours of the night, wake up, play a bunch. Oh, man. What a day. What a day. Mark, what are you getting into this week?
I guess I'm just going to keep pushing with Control.
Yeah.
Pushing, I get
Yeah.
Launching,
Say what we're going to be using our force power this week.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to force my way into a couple more Pokemon gyms, I think. I might try and dip back. I've been meaning to go back to Luigi's Mansion and Link's Awakening, just keep chipping away at those. But honestly, I've been having this weird itch for some Hollow Knight. Because I'm right at the end of that, too. And that game just... I've been listening to a lot of the music I was listening to earlier this year when I fell back into Hollow Knight. So I think hearing those albums again, I was kind of like, oh, yeah, Hollow Knight. I kind of want to get back in it. I've had this weird relationship with that game where I'm like,
You maybe remember Blasphemous.
there you go.
That's sad.
Yeah.
Talking about the game for so long,
I
and now it's just like barely a memory in my head.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I was one of those games I was hoping you two would play. We have to have those conversations because I'm not going to get to it.
I mean, I've played it, just not a lot of it.
Yeah.
Guess I should admit freely right here that I don't think I'm going to get the Shenmue 3 in time. Sorry, listeners. We're going to have to wait even longer for knee-jerk reactions
That's all
on
right.
this podcast.
And maybe you can win 2020's 2019 Game of the Year.
Could win not enough time.
Hey, look at that.
New category, a little preview.
Look at that. Yeah, I'm getting excited for Game of the Year stuff here. Twitter. Follow the Free Cheese at some Free Cheese. Mark is at og_mental. Matt is at MattyIce131. I am at The Free Cheese. Podcast at thefreecheese.com. Thefreecheese.com. That's it. We'll see you next time. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, listener, for listening. Bye.